some words long attributed to the Native American leader, Sealth. We don't know exactly who wrote them, but they're beautiful words notwithstanding. I appreciate the enthusiasm. Thank you. This we know. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected, like the blood which unites one body and one family. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters and children of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Thus, whatever we do to that web, we are doing to ourselves. With that wisdom and that warning, we rise today in song to celebrate all creatures of the earth and sky. We will sing the first 3 verses only and finish this later. So I invite you to make worship together with your voice and hearts as we rise and sing hymn number 203, verses 1 through 3, all creatures of the earth and sky.
If you could please turn to the Litany of Restoration in your order of service. We join the earth and with each other. Yes, I'm sorry. My apologies. The responsive invocation in your order of service. Let's try that again. At the break of the morning, the dawn of a new day. Thanks for the gift of creation. When the light of the sun touches the horizon and the darkness lifts to make way. We give thanks for the gift of life. Surrounded by air sweet with spring, we take up breath within us to sing psalms of praise. And we give thanks for the gift of breath. At the zenith of the day, when greening life and warming skies abound, we give thanks for the gift of abundant life. And in this song, our souls rise and pay homage, giving thanks for the gift of the Spirit that lives within and between us. Good morning. My name is Randy Allaben, and I think the shirt threw me off a little bit earlier, so my apologies. My daughter got this shirt for me in Ghana. It's a Ghanaian chief shirt, and I thought it was appropriate to wear it today with all our wonderful animals here and such a beautiful sunny day outside. Welcome to Fountain Street Church. I love this church, and I love animals, and I can't think of another church that allows animals into their sanctuary, welcoming them as creatures of the world. And it's wonderful you brought them. I currently have 2 dogs, Claude and Charlie. I have a cat named Izzo, and we have a rabbit named Sasha. But in recent past, we've had 2 chinchillas, a hedgehog, and even a bearded dragon, and they've moved on to other friends and to greater places. I do want to make one brief announcement. On June 13, in a few weeks, everyone will be getting an invitation to our annual event for our foundation. We will be learning about socially responsible investing. We've recently moved a portion of our foundation, which is currently at about $3.7 million, into socially responsible funds. We're focusing on no fossil fuels, and we hope to increase our percentage into the socially responsible investing. So June 13 in the social hall, there will be free wine, and there will be free hearty hors d'oeuvres. Look for your invitation and come enjoy and learn about our new SRI initiative. At Fountain Street Church, all are welcome, as you can see, both humans, non-humans, creatures great and small. At Fountain Street Church, you all have a home.
On this Earth Day, we remember the ancient story of creation, recorded in the book of Genesis, when at the beginning of the heavens and the earth was wild and waste, and darkness covered the face of the deep, and a rushing spirit, a wind, hovered over the face of the waters. And Hashem, the divine name that spoke then and in every generation, said, Vayichi or, let there be light. And there was light. And the Creative One saw all of this and declared, this is good.
We are grateful for the light by which we see and perceive the world and the universe and all that comes into being.
And the divine speaks in every generation, saying, let the waters of the earth come together in one place, and let there be a dome to hold back the waters above the earth. And so it was that immense oceans were formed and great lakes. And the Creator saw all of this and declared, this is good.
We are grateful for water, which poet W.H. Allaben called the soul of the earth, which sustains all life.
Then Adonai looked upon the dry land that had been formed. This was the soil from which plants would grow. And Adonai named the dry land Eretz, earth, and declared that it too was good.
We are grateful for the soil, that in which the growing things live, and that upon which we tread upon the earth.
And the divine speaks in every generation, saying, let growing things come forth from the soil. Let there be plants with their own kinds of seeds. Let there be peas and beans, corn and cabbage. And so plants grew, each with their own seed. And the Creator saw all of this and declared, this is good.
We are grateful for plants which nourish our bodies and all growing things.
And then God spoke, as God still speaks in every generation, and said, let there be flowers of all kinds to brighten the earth. And so it was that colorful flowers came forth from the soil, yellow and gold, pink and purple, flowers to delight the eye and charm the nose and gladden the heart. And God said of all this, this is good.
We are grateful for the flowers who express their courageous beauty and bless our days so that we might enjoy and express our lives in appreciation of their beauty.
And the divine speaks in every generation, saying, let trees be rooted in the soil. And so it was that trees of all kinds took root in the soil. Trees with delicious fruits to eat, and other trees of every kind, maple and mahogany, cedar and cypress, oak and aspen. And the Creator saw all of this and declared, this is good.
We are grateful for trees, the largest of all plants. They extend their limbs to us and offer us a place to climb or swing. They provide oxygen for our next breath. And they also provide shade from the sun, I've heard, in some parts of the country.
And then Yah, for so the Holy One is known, who spoke then and still speaks today, said, "Let the waters bring forth living creatures of all kinds." And so it was that sea creatures came into being, from great whales to tiny minnows and every kind of creature that lives in the waters. And then Yah saw all of this and declared, "This is good."
We are grateful for all the creatures of the sea and the rivers and the lakes who make the waters to teem with life.
And the divine heart that speaks in every generation said, "Let birds fly in the heavens." And so it was that creatures with wings appeared, from great hawks to tiny hummingbirds, and every kind of creature that flies in the air. And God saw that this was good.
We are grateful for creatures that fly, that teach us to sing and give us courage to shoot for the stars.
And then the Holy One spoke, as it still speaks now, and said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures." The earth. This was when wild beasts appeared, and snakes that crawl on the ground, and mice and rabbits and deer and dogs, cows and cats, all the animals that live upon the earth. And this too was good.
We are grateful for the animals, large and small, who are our companions and those who show us the way of life and life abundant.
And the divine heart spoke, then as in every generation, saying, "Let us make creatures in our own image and likeness, creatures who watch over and protect everything we have made." And so human beings were created. In the image and likeness of the creators, they were made, male, female, and every gender.
We are grateful for the gift of all human life.
And then the divine blessed the human creatures with the ability to choose and to create and, yes, to destroy, and charge them with the care of all of creation. And so the Creator saw all that had been made, and the Spirit that was in all that had been created, and saw all of this, and declared, "This is good." And so ends our litany and liturgy of gratitude for creation and its children. May we all be blessed.
special thank you to Brad Fritcher and his group, which includes Travis Swanson on guitar and Aidan Cafferty on bass, for making the music of our gathering today. Thank you. It's beautiful. We take time as a people when we gather for worship to call ourselves all the way present. And I know it is one of the great gifts of gathering in community that we can take that time, which is so rare in our world, to listen to the world inside of this human body which we've just given gratitude for. And so I want to welcome you to take your most attentive seat as we take time in silence and meditation, or whatever is your practice in which you center yourself with the source of your life. And I want to offer you this image as a way to practice in the silence. With our animal friends with us this morning, I want you to notice that it just is the time when we as a community have decided to be fully present, they have decided to quiet for us. Our animal friends are extraordinary vessels. And I ask you in this time that will follow, if you might pay attention to the possibility that the animals of our lives, that all the growing beauty of creation around us, the trees and the plants and the birds and the fish, what if all of these were not things which we own and feed and ask to entertain us? What if the animals of our lives were spaces made wide in the universe? What if they were invitations to something more? What if they were a welcome to a greater abundance than our frantic lives sometimes offer? I welcome you in this time of silent prayer and reflection to consider that possibility, that the animals that you know and love and that surround you in your home are more of an invitation than a thing. Let's gather our hearts and minds. And I welcome you in one more breath to give thanks and gratitude for some living thing which has blessed your life this day and might bless your life all your days. May it be so. Amen.
A woman bought a new house and decided that she was going to have a very beautiful lawn. She worked on it every week, doing everything the gardening books told her to do. Her biggest problem was that the lawn always seemed to have dandelions, especially growing where she didn't want them, of course. And the first time she found them, she just pulled them out, but alas, they grew back. She went to her local gardening store and bought weed killer. This worked for some time, but after some summer rains, the dandelions came back. She worked and pulled and killed dandelions all summer long. The next summer, she thought she might have no dandelions at all, since none had grown over the winter. But then, all of a sudden, dandelions again. This time, she decided that the problem was with the type of grass she had, so she spent a fortune to dig up the lawn and have all new sod put down. This worked for some time, and she was very happy. Just as she started to relax, though, a dandelion came up. A friend told her it was due to the dandelions in the lawns of her neighbors. So she went on a campaign to get all of her neighbors to kill all of their dandelions. By the third year, she was exasperated. She still had dandelions. So after consulting every local expert and garden book, she decided to write the United States Department of Agriculture for advice. Surely those experts could help her. After waiting several months, she finally got a letter back. She was so excited. Help at last. She tore open the letter and read the following. Dear homeowner, we have considered your problem and consulted all of our experts. After careful consideration, we think we can give you very good advice. Our advice is that you learn to love the dandelions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bethany Joy Winn. I'm a Master's of Divinity student at Chicago Theological Seminary and intern here at Fountain Street this year, though I spend most of my time in the chapel. It's an honor to be here with you all, furry, feathered, finned, and your human companions. When it was suggested that I offer the message today for Reverence for Life Sunday, I confess that I was a little surprised by the title. I personally didn't know anything about the origin or the tradition of Reverence for Life. So my first thought was actually that it sounded a little like something called pro-life, which is often coded language for valuing some lives more than others, particularly for valuing unborn lives at the expense of those whose choices are being denied. Then I thought, now Fountain Street, this is Fountain Street, institutionally you're very supportive of choice, so that couldn't be right. The next thing that occurred to me was that it must be some kind of response to the Black Lives Matter movement. I could imagine that y'all had dedicated a Sunday to insist that Black lives not only matter, but are to be revered. That's some holy truth worth repeating. And this is what Reverence for Life Sunday is all about, whether you realize it or not. We are here to honor and revere all of life. It's a celebratory space, a time for loving and lifting up and blessing the non-human living things we so greatly cherish. It's show and tell and pet therapy and holy chaos all at once. It's also an opportunity to expand our reverence for life to include that which is often overlooked or rejected. It's an invitation to reflect on the ways that we as human caretakers do or do not intentionally revere lives that are systemically treated as without worth. We named gratitude for beautiful flowers that delight the eye and gladden the heart. Yet I suggest that there's an unspoken thanks implied there for the stinking corpse lily, poison ivy, and the tenacious dandelion. We named whales and minnows, hawks and hummingbirds, and aren't you also able to increase your gratitude to include the blobfish and the vulture? For a community willing to spend a liturgy honoring all of creation, willing to bring snakes and spiders, cats and dogs, and the occasional llama to church, it's not a huge stretch to praise the life of all creation, whether or not it has any apparent value or attractiveness from a human standpoint. What a gift it is to claim space for an expansive appreciation for the wideness of life. And what a challenge it is to genuinely invite and celebrate all life. Mary Douglas was a social anthropologist and student of comparative religion. In her book, Purity and Danger, Douglas says, "Dirt is only matter out of place. When it's in a garden bed, it's soil. It holds and nourishes my flowers and my vegetables. It smells like worms and life. But when it's on my kitchen floor, it's dirt, something to be cleaned up, pushed away, relocated out of what I think is my space." Who or what are the dandelions or the dirt in your life? The dandelion knows her worth as one of the first spring foods for pollinating insects, as a nutritious green leaf, as a toddler's bouquet for their beloved parent, as a wishing flower for children of every age. The dandelion also knows what it's like to be unwanted, to be responded to with strategic hostility and poison, to be prevented access, to be named as invasive, to be deemed expendable, their killing justified. And yet Reverence for Life boldly claims, Black lives matter. Transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary lives matter. Undocumented, underdocumented, indigenous lives matter. Children's and youth's and old people's lives matter. Disabled people's lives matter. And also honeybee lives matter. Sea lion and polar bear, black rhino and chimpanzee lives matter. Snakes and spiders, fire ants and centipedes, creepy crawly and long-leggedy beastie lives matter. The lives of our dear companion animals matter, whether they are here in physical form or in our hearts, minds, and memories. Old-growth forests and rainforests and oceans matter. The water tables and oil reservoirs matter. And also, the people who have less liberal religious views, their lives matter. The politicians who vote for death-dealing policies, their lives also matter. Reverence for Life is tough work, y'all. Writer and poet Aurora Levins Morales, who is a Puerto Rican, Jewish, feminist, disabled, environmentalist, and activist, says, "My father, an ecologist and fifth-generation radical, taught me this. When two legitimate needs seem to be in conflict, neither side is asking for enough. We need an economy that saves both trees and people, a sexual culture that honors desire and sovereignty in all humans. Our job is not to discover the single issue that trumps all others, to fight for the priority of what presses on our own skin. It's to seek out the places where those skins rub, the spark-filled junctions where we could find ways to say a bigger yes, where we can add layer upon layer of meaning, rejoice in the complexity of our lives, and use it to expand our desires beyond the limits of what we thought possible. So yes, we are here to revere the lives of unborn babies and the adults involved in their conception. Yes, we are here to revere the lives of our friends and family members, as well as those neighbors the world would tell us are other. Yes, we are here to revere our companion animals and the stinky, creepy, icky ones we'd rather keep at arm's length. Yes, we are here to revere the beautiful plants that we encourage in our yards and gardens, and to practice loving the dandelions. In closing, I'm offering to you a poem by Theodor Rüttke, born in Saginaw, Michigan, to a German immigrant father who was a market gardener with a 25-acre greenhouse. Rüttke essentially grew up navigating his sense of self in relationship with living, growing things. And as a Michigander trying to grow things, I'm guessing he was intimately familiar with dandelions. So here's Theodore Roethke's poem, Long Live the Weeds. Long live the weeds that overwhelm my narrow vegetable realm, the bitter rock, the barren soil that force the Son of Man to toil. All things unholy, marked by curse, the ugly of the universe, the rough, the wicked, and the wild that keep the spirit undefiled. With these I match my little wit and earn the right to stand or sit, hope, look, create, or drink and die. These shape the creature that is I. Reverence for Life Sunday invites us to celebrate all the life we hold dear, and it calls us to task. As you celebrate Earth Day today and Reverence for Life today and every day, I invite you to ask yourself, how can you practice creation caretaking that reveres the bugs and the birds, the oil and the water, the humans and the wild spaces? Reverence for Life invites you to practice a bigger yes, and in doing so, earn the right to become ever more fully human. Now please rise as you're able and join our voices together singing the last two verses of hymn 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. Please be seated. Will you join with me in the litany of restoration listed in your bulletin? We join the earth and with each other. We join with the earth and with each other. We join with the earth and with each other. We join the earth and with each other. We join with the earth and with each other. May it be so. And now for the time we have all been waiting. We're going to ask Brad Fritcher and his group to be up front and provide music while we offer blessings to our animal friends. If you would like you and your animal to be blessed, please do come down the outside aisles with your animal friends. If you need to travel back up and around, that's fine. We want to leave these center aisles open for folks who will need to leave the sanctuary at this time for one reason or another. Your blessings will be offered to you by two folks on this side,
Reverend Winn and Bethany Joy will be here, and myself and Ginny Makita, who is a Fountain Streeter and graduate of Garrett Seminary, a United Methodist progressive seminary, and who will join us in blessing animals here. And if you're interested, Ginny also runs an extraordinary ministry with animals in our community. So if you love animals, welcome to the blessing. Come, friends, all is ready.